Narrative search using phrasal templates allows you to change an advanced search form, which would normally be a large list of Boolean options or toggles or facets, and condense it into a human-readable and user-friendly narrative structure, which allows users to fill in the blanks and describe in plain English the things they're looking for. Given a set of possible search criteria, we create a narrative around the mental model of the user to explain why they would make those selections. In this case, most users will start by narrowing their choices by allegiance and by play type, which will have the largest effect on their interactions later. In the narrative form, here is the phrasal template reflecting a non-selection, returning 1,400 unfiltered results. Selecting a Republic allegiance cuts that list in half and updates the phrasal template to reflect that selection in line. Selecting one or more server types narrows the list further. Notice how the phrasal template accommodates the multiple selections for the second group. In this example, narrative search using phrasal templates groups individual terms in a set with a Boolean OR, while the entire narrative is grouped with an AND. And that's the gist of it. Let's take a look at a real implementation for some details. Here's the same search criteria from the example. Again, note how the phrasal template adjusts for the varied search criteria, ensuring the narrative is consistent with the underlying logic. Any selection within a group triggers the hover effect for all of the other selections, providing a visual indicator of the relationship. The phrasal template updates in real time, but the selection dropdown stays anchored to the location it was spawned at, so the user doesn't lose their place with the mouse. While any and all selections may be equivalent to the underlying logic, providing them as distinct options may match the user's mental model better. Finally, we provide even more options as individual statements. Let's discuss why we used it. Guilds Search launched in March 2011. Guilds are a bit like meetups, where you're looking for like-minded players to adventure with. Unlike meetups, however, all guilds are here to play the same game. The differentiators are subtle and very personal, and can have a dramatic effect on your enjoyment of the game, so finding the right one is important. Today, you can join the game and socialize with players to do this, but you could form guilds 9 months before the game launched, so as you searched, effective filtering was important. In March 2010, the initial design for search was pretty standard, with a lot of buttons and later a lot of checkboxes. Afraid this would be difficult for novice users to figure out, the rest of guilds were signed off on, while I continued designing search. Mad Lib-style data entry forms had been around since late 2008, but they had come back into the internet's consciousness due to a Luke W. article in February 2010 suggesting they supported improved conversion rates. I don't have specific references from that time, but by June 2010 I had put 2 and 2 together and went from checkboxes to the sentences we launched with. This was the only search we've ever had, so we can't report comparative effectiveness figures. Our users didn't complain about it, at least, but you'll want to do your own testing, of course. And that's it. I'm Vittorio, a designer in Austin, Texas, and this has been a review of the narrative search using phrasal templates design pattern, or colloquially, Mad Lib's style advanced search. Thanks.